Welcome back. It's preview Saturday's Premier League clash between Liverpool and Chelsea at Anfield. Barney starting with the home side, shaky form in the league, but entered the match off a really encouraging performance against Real Madrid.
It was encouraging, yeah. They did lose 1-0, but everyone went into that match expecting them to get hammered. You know, I predicted 4-0, and I'm a Liverpool fan, so hopes weren't high for that game. There was obviously questions over Rodgers' team selection, wasn't there? He named a team which was more akin to the League Cup than the Champions League, probably the toughest game Liverpool have had in 5 years, more than 5 years. So to name that team was very controversial from Rodgers, but you've got to say he was slightly vindicated in it because they performed very well, and it needed shaking up because the first team players that he had chosen before just weren't doing the business. So, whether we would have done better with Gerrard, Sterling in the team because we lost so narrowly, that might be a what-if moment really, but the first team players hadn't been doing the business. They didn't do it at Anfield in the first leg, so he chose to shake things up, and I think it worked fairly well, even though we did lose.
I think it's quite interesting what Rodgers says, wasn't it? He didn't sort of say that he has actually changed the team. He said that he's changed the team because of poor performances. You know, he's not. He said prior to the game, it's not like Liverpool enter this game off winning five straight games and they're going to rest their best players, because who's been your best player this season? You know, you Balotelli, Gerrard probably plays all the time, but I just think last season, these are the games that those players play for, people like Gerrard and stuff. Like, that's no disrespect, but Champions League football, Gerrard's obviously won the Champions League, Liverpool won the Champions League, but to play away at the Bernabeu, that doesn't come around every season, does it? It might not happen again, you never know. You know, if they don't draw them, obviously, they can probably make the Champions League again, but I just thought it was strange, you know, you go into that game, he's put massive pressure on himself now for the next game, because if they don't win that, it was strange. He's got a lot of criticism from ex-players, hasn't he? But whether it works, I mean, he knows his players better than anyone, so we'll wait and see, but strange for me.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting one, wasn't it? I mean, it's the biggest game they've had for a long time, and it's the biggest game they'll have this season probably, so you expect the biggest team to be out, the best team to be out. Sterling, I'd say, has probably been our best player this season, but he hasn't been in great form. You've got to remember, Gerrard, he's played every minute of every Champions League and Premier League game, and there's talk of him not having the legs anymore. You can see a bit of logic in resting them ahead of Chelsea, because domestically at the moment, that's got to be Liverpool's priority, because they're not doing well in the league and they need to get back in the Champions League last season. A lot of people saw it as waving the white flag, but it didn't turn out to be that way. All the fringe players stepped up to the plate to an extent and performed pretty well. I think there's more of an energy about the team which hasn't been there in recent weeks, and you know, they've given Rodgers something to think about going into a game against the Chelsea side in really good form themselves.
Yeah, it's probably the last team that Liverpool actually want to play them in, or the best team, or whatever way you look at it. You know, everyone will be up for it. It's a big game. Obviously, they won their last season, Chelsea, didn't they? 2-0. That was perhaps the big game where Liverpool probably conceded the title, wasn't it? But I mean, Chelsea entered the match off the back of a 2-1 win over QPR. QPR played quite well, to be fair. Obviously, Charlie Austin got the goal for 1-1, didn't he? But then there was the contentious penalty. I mean, when it was spoke about at the time, that people were saying it was really contentious, but you can understand why the referee gave it, because it was quite a sort of a heavy challenge, wasn't it? It didn't really need to be made, but I mean, Chelsea, that's the thing of them, we've said it many times before, they can grind out results, can't they, against the so-called smaller teams. They can beat the big teams, smaller teams, they can sort of, and they're getting to that stage now where they're just winning games consistently, they keep winning, and I mean, City is 6 points behind them now, that's more important, they won the derby, but it's just looking ominous, isn't it, at the top of the table?
It is, they're just so well balanced, aren't they? Because they can thrash teams, they can grind out results. Talk about Liverpool not really winning convincingly this season, apart from that Tottenham result. Chelsea, the last few games, they haven't won convincingly, but they ground out results, and that's what champions have to do sometimes. For me, they're just such a well balanced side that in every area of the field. They're really strong. Can't see past them for the title. And after this game, they would have played all their major rivals, really: Arsenal, City, United. They've played Everton already. So it's a big game for them, and if they can get something out of it, then full steam ahead to the title for me.
There's been a lot of big games for Chelsea lately. What's your score prediction? Are you backing them to go to Anfield and win?
See, with Chelsea, I wouldn't be surprised if they went anywhere to win. Mourinho is such a good tactician away from home. Liverpool, I think, will be buoyed by their loss to Real Madrid, even though it was a lost good performance. I think there'll be a few changes from that side, but I think a lot of players will keep their place. Kolo Touré had a really good game in midweek. I think he'll keep his place, for example. But for me, I'm going for 1-1 draw, I think.
I'm actually going to agree, yeah. It's one of those games where you wouldn't be surprised to see Chelsea win, but Liverpool have got to respond at some point, haven't they? So the league form's not been great. You know, no one's been particularly great in the league apart from Chelsea, to be fair. But I can see a draw as well. I think everyone would be up for it. The crowd would be up for it. Something about a 1-1 draw. So we're both going for 1-1 draws at Anfield on Saturday. Thanks for joining us.